And it's stuff like this that makes you want to pull your hair out and get a toupee. I mean, it's insane. It's absolutely insane when you see stuff like this. But, Vito, what'd you think? I mean, if you had the opportunity to touch Donald's hair, would you do it?
Oh, my goodness. I would never wash my hand again.
I would love to run my hands through the luscious locks of his head.
Oh, my goodness.
And he's got a funky hair. Look, we got nice hair.
It looks like somebody who's playing around with Photoshop and tried blurring out his face.
Yeah, all right, I'm not going to go that far. I kind of like the guy a little bit. But I mean,
so do I.
When you see his hair, it's like the back of the hair is pushed all the way to the front and like somehow wrapped around the back. Like it's like Elvis Presley if he was blonde and like, I don't know, rich. Because Donald Trump compared to Elvis, I don't know if he's going to break the bank. Vito, what's out there to forget about a moment of the week?
Ready for this?
Yeah, sure.
MSNBC has moved my favorite show, with Al Sharpton, from prime time to Sunday mornings.
Oh, wow. They kicked them out of the prime time lineup.
Mm-hmm. Now, lucky for Reverend Al, I'm at church on Sunday morning, so I cannot watch your show. Okay. So hopefully this will tank, and his ratings will drop even more. They got to kick this bum out.
You know, I can't take the Reverend Al, if they want to call him that, or Reverend. I wouldn't do that because I think Reverend is a respectable title. And somebody like Al Sharpton is not respectable at all. This is disgusting when you see stuff like this. Al Sharpton, he's not getting kicked off. They can't kick him off because they know if they do, conservatives are going to have a field day. So they do the second to worst thing they could do to somebody, and that's move their time slot to a time that nobody watches. He's got to now compete up against Fox News Sunday. Meet the Press. This week, with George Stephanopoulos or whoever they have on filling in for him. Like, you know, he's got to fill in with the Sunday morning talk shows.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck with that.
I mean,
who's watching that show on Fox News at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock on Sunday morning? You don't even know what's on at 10, 9 o'clock because you're too busy watching Chris Wells.
I know there's paid programming at some point.
Oh, come on.
What time was he on before that?
He was on in the afternoon, early afternoon, on the weekdays. So he had a 5-day-a-week show. Cut it down.
As long as it wasn't Thursdays at 8.
Yeah, good. I think we're up against, what's his name? Lawrence O'Donnell or Chris I don't even watch that station. I have no idea.
I think at one point, also on Fridays, we're up against Rush Limbaugh. I think it's Rush.
A long travel.
We see how great we're doing.
Yeah, it is what it is. But Al Sharpton getting demoted sort of to a once-a-week show on MSNBC in the morning when basically no one's watching. Mm-hmm. They cannot let him go. It's only a matter of time. They're revamping their whole lineup, and I'm not going to be surprised in 5 to 10 years, if maybe shorter than that, MSNBC becomes a conservative station. I'm telling you now it's going to happen.
Bold predictions.
People in this country are conservative. They don't like liberal media. And if you have a whole station dedicated to liberalism, people are not going to watch it. And that is definitely something that we see here on the show. We see it in the world. You see it watching the news. You see stuff like that.
But you see, our Twitter's blowing up with about Ellie Mae's Brooklyn Lil Fran impression.
All right.
But we got to talk about Scott Walker here. So we have to change gears.
Change gears. This is actually a very interesting story, Vito. You got to fill me in here because you did a lot of research, and I want to ask you.
I thought you did the research.
Not necessarily. Explain to me. I made it look like I did the research. Explain to me, Vito, just what you came up here on Scott Walker and Planned Parenthood.
Check this out.
Break this down for me.
On a cold afternoon. No, in a diner.
It was the worst of times. It was the best of times. Go ahead, break it down for me.
In a diner. I forgot it might have been in Iowa. No, New Hampshire. In New Hampshire on July 16th, at a little campaign stop, Scott Walker said that we defunded Planned Parenthood in Wisconsin. This is after all those videos came out about Planned Parenthood selling baby parts. Okay. So he said that they defunded it.
All right.
But he only stopped the Title V funding, which is state funding with the block grant with the federal government. Mm-hmm. But now there's also Title X funding that deals with the federal government that Congress is trying to stop now. Okay. Defund Planned Parenthood, that deals with Title X. So Title X is still coming into Wisconsin. So which means that he did not defund Planned Parenthood. He's reallocating funds, which he did in 2011, and right now they're trying to do the same thing in Wisconsin.
So explain this to me in a metaphor that I can understand. Is he sitting here, Scott Walker, currently, and is funding Planned Parenthood?
Yes.
Now, is he at the same time running on the campaign trail telling people that he defunded Planned Parenthood? Like, it's already done. It's a done deal.
Yes.
You see, now this is... I'm not going to go out and bash Scott Walker and call him names. But what I am going to say is I'm a little concerned here because this is somebody that is saying he's not in the process of. He's saying, he's just sort of giving you these ambiguous, vague statements. He'll say, I support something like that. But at the end of the day, is he really getting down into the nitty-gritty? Is he really sitting there defunding Planned Parenthood? I mean, to me, it's a tough issue here. Because Scott Walker has flip-flopped on birthright, citizenship, a couple of times.
Amnesty.
You said you saw an article that says he has no consultants, he just deals with himself?
Yes, from the New York Times.
All right.
He's his own strategist, which is working wonders.
But in terms of a principal perspective here, is he actively fighting to defund Planned Parenthood? Because I know we're playing with semantics here. Because a lot of people are saying, I'm defunding Planned Parenthood, and they're really just cutting taxpayer spending. They're not really defunding the whole organization.
Right. Because all this nitty-gritty technical stuff, most Americans are not going to find out or pay attention to or really sit down and read the bills or whatever Walker is actually signing and passing. But what happened is that he made it illegal for any program in Wisconsin to receive state funding if it performs abortions, which specifically targets Planned Parenthood. Okay. So the money cannot go to Planned Parenthood if they're giving abortions, which means they cannot receive the Title V state funding.
Well, you see, the thing here...
But there's still the Title X.
Okay.
And if Congress is, Ted Cruz and McConnell, this whole thing going back and forth, they're having a tough time defunding it right now, but it's up to the states and the governors, like Indiana did, Kansas, I think South Carolina. A few states took it upon themselves to defund it completely by taking out that Title X. Scott Walker did not, because they are working on bills in Madison, in Wisconsin, to reallocate these funds to go, instead of going to Planned Parenthood, they will go to other programs in the state.
I see.
That will go for specifically real women's health care, mammograms, etc., etc.
Okay. I see where you're going with this. I see your point.
You see the light.
I see the light. I see it also as something that this should concern you. Because if you're really fighting against... Look, a governor can defund Planned Parenthood, that's great. I mean, the guy wants to be president. Is he willing to go the extra mile and defund it on the national level? That's an interesting perspective. Is he going to hold that position on the national level? It's an interesting topic to talk about. But, Vito, when we're sitting here with this entirety, this whole sort of Planned Parenthood essence, that's what I'm going to call it, the Planned Parenthood essence of abortion, of cloaking itself in women's reproductive health rights and stuff like that. Planned Parenthood is this sort of living, breathing organism. If I could use that.
Ironic.
Yeah.
Ironic.
Because it runs around and it stands for something. People don't go to Planned Parenthood most of the time for other things. They're going to go, when you hear Planned Parenthood, you think of abortion. And that's the thing. So, if you're going to be a politician and you're going to say you're pro-life or you're pro-choice, it doesn't matter. You should be pro-principle. And you should sit there and you should seek to do what you're going to do with that thing. Are you going to defund Planned Parenthood? Do you not want federal taxpayer money going to Planned Parenthood? Should there be no state funding to Planned Parenthood? Should it be entirely private? Should there be no abortion? Take those positions and take them strong, man. Let me see where you stand on the issues. And that's something that I think Scott Walker is going to have to answer as time gets more and more. I know a lot of the policy wonks are going to have a lot of fun with this, but it's certainly something that I think we need to be talking about in the conservative sphere, is looking at candidates and being a lot more critical than what the mainstream media is being critical, or how they portray themselves as being critical.
And he portrays himself as a very strong pro-life candidate. I mean, what Madison is doing with allocating funds, I believe they're modeling that off of Texas.
Okay.
So other states have done this. We can debate and talk about, should he be allocating funds? Should the government just completely not be funding any of this?
That's my position.
Right. But none of that really matters if he's just going to lie about it. Why can't he sit there and say these things, but, at a coffee shop on the campaign trail, it's just much easier to say we defunded Planned Parenthood.
Hey, it's a scary world we live in, and I'm telling you, it's very interesting to talk about.
That shows something about his character, especially with no consultants, like they were saying. We're going to see if he trips up more in the future.
Exactly. Let's just go and study this issue here. The Vito and Vito Show. Check us out at www.vitoandvito.com for network listings, past articles, and our newest episodes. Don't go anywhere. Got some great shows coming up next here on the Vito here in the Vito and Vito Show. Listen to this here on a lot of these special networks, specifically War Radio. Gotta love them. Shout out to them. They're doing great. Love you guys over there. We also got to talk about this, the Vito and Vito Show. Check us out, www.vitoandvito.com. The Vito and Vito Show in Brooklyn.
It's nothing but the truth.